money, my friend, time and money, my friend, time and money. Make you not play with your work, yeah.
You operate now.
Gossip, all another man. Use your time well. Do better thing. Money not come from heaven. Do better thing. Money goes come. Now true word that they tell you so. Hey, true word not the cheat, my brother. Not the square person. You know good, yeah.
A beautiful morning right here from the studios of Hyper 102.7 FM. You're listening to us from the city of Imure, Ondo State.
Gossip, all another man. Use your time well. Do better thing. Money not come from heaven. Do better thing. Money go come. Now true word that they tell you so.
The program is Money Sense, your weekly guide to smarter budgeting and financial freedom.
Money not fall from heaven. Do better thing. Money go come. Now true word that they tell you so.
I am Florence Barima. Friends call me FLOXY. You can also call me FLOXY. Yes, the program is Money Sense, your weekly dose designed to specifically build your financial prudency in such a manner that you help yourself to live for every day and not survive through it. In a world where saving seems so difficult and spending is easy, with Money Sense on the show, we practically take you through the knowledge of budgeting, money management, and making smarter financial decisions. On every episode, it features expert insight, real-life stories, and tips to help you live every day as it comes managing your finances.
Not the person. You know good, yeah. Money. Make you use your time well. No waka, no gossip, all another man. Use your time.
For those wondering what we're talking about today on Money Sense, yes, it's a program designed to liberate your financial life. Because in a society where spending is easy and saving is so difficult, you need a guide through life so much that you live every day on your own terms. You live every day on your own terms. So today on Money Sense, we will be discussing the importance of budgeting. Why should you keep budgeting? Why should budgeting matters? And before I go on, I'll be taking us through a quote in the book of Proverbs. It says, "A wise man stores up choice food, the olive, while the foolish sprunks them out." What that simply tells us is a wise man saves for the rainy days, while a foolish man squanders everything and live for the present. Now, let's dive straight into the business of the day. What is budgeting? Why do I need to keep budget? Why do I need every day? Why do I need to take charge of my spending habit? Now, budgeting is a process of creating a plan on how to spend your money. Emphasis on your money. So what we're going to be doing on the show is taking us through how to spend your money, because yes, the program is Money Sense and you're listening to us from the studios of High Power 102.7 FM. Yes, why should you keep budget? Why does budgeting matter? Now, budgeting is a process of planning on how to spend your money. The spending plan itself is called budgeting. Now, the planning part of your how to spend your money is the budget. Now, creating a spending plan on how to spend your money not only helps you take charge of your finances, but also help you so much that you know if for the next months or years you have yourself in charge or you have your money surviving through you. Now, why should I keep a budget? Why do I need to keep a budget? The first thing you need to place in mind is that a budget guides you through the path of reaching your financial goals. Budgeting keeps you and it helps you build your finance so much that you are under control, you are in charge. According to Dave Ramsey, it says a budget is telling your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. Because when you are in charge of your finances, you are the one dictating, okay, this social amount is going to go to this and this will go to this. But where you fail to keep a budget, you end up wondering, I had 10,000 last week. I don't even have an idea of how I spent it, because what? You lack budgeting and you were not planning on how to spend the money. So what budgeting itself means is that it's a process of creating a plan on how to spend your money. The spending plan itself is called budget. Now, creating a spending plan only helps you achieve a short and a longer term plan, so much that you are in control of how you spend your money. Now, why should I create a budget? A budget is a guide that keeps you through the path of financial goals. Like I said earlier, when you keep a financial plan, when you keep a budget, you are in charge of what goes in and what comes out of your account. Also, there are 3 P's to be considered when dealing with budgeting. The first is the paycheck. The second are your priorities, while the third is your plan. Before you can decide to work on a budget, there must be a source of income, either daily, weekly, annually, monthly, quarterly. There must be somewhere you intend to get the money you intend to spend, which is where the paycheck comes in. And aside the paycheck, you need to set order of priorities. Yes, it's called in economics your scale of preference. Okay, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. Now, the act of putting both your paycheck and your priorities together is called the plan. Yes, I'll be making an illustration of a person who earns 50,000 naira, for instance, as my bowl of contention. Now, for someone who earns 50,000 and has so many things to do with that money, but decides to go through the scale of priorities and say, okay, because I earn 50,000 naira, I would cut out 15,000 naira for feeding. I would leave 2,000 naira for water. I will leave 3,000 naira for electricity, then 5,000 naira for data. Then my savings, because I have long-time vision, will be 10,000 naira. My transportation going and coming, to earn the living would be 10,000 naira. My unforeseen contingencies, because anything can happen, let that be 5,000 naira. If you're following me, you would know the planning and the priorities all are summing up to 50,000 the person will be earning for the month. Now, what the person has succeeded in doing is to create a budget plan, so much that the person is in charge of the paycheck, so much that the person has charge over what he earns at the end of the month. Now, failure to follow this budget strictly would only mean that some priorities would suffer while some will be overspent on. So now, What are the things that would happen as a person if you fail to adhere to what budgeting entails? Before we continue, we're gonna go on a very short musical break. When we come back, we'll take you through the ride again for those who would have been joining just then.
Time no money, time no money, time no money. Use your time well. No waka waka, no gossip, no spoil another man. Use your time well. Do better thing. Money no dey fall from.
Yes, so money no dey fall from heaven. You have to use your time well, you have to plan, and you have to keep a budget at heart. So at the end of the day, you don't seem like what David Ramsey says, whereby you're wondering where your money went, instead of actually dictating to the money what you need it to do. You are still listening to High Power 102.7 FM, and the program is Money Sense. We've been taking you through the journey of what budgeting is, why you should create a budget, and of course the 3 P's. Like I said, budgeting is a process of creating a plan on how to spend your own money. That's the emphasis. It's your money, but you need a plan to spend it. So at the end of the day, your money doesn't have to save you. Well, you need to save your money. So now I took you through the journey of why you should create a budget, where I said it's a guide to keep you in check. When you have a budget, when you keep a strict discipline for budgeting, you are in charge of your finances. And I also mentioned the 3 P's of budgeting, where we have the paycheck, we have the priorities, and we have the plan. And I gave us a run through of someone who earns 50,000 naira and has been able to practically scale through the month because he or she had a budget. Now I'll be taking you through the importance of budgeting. And the first on my list is it helps you have enough money for important things. Someone who has 50,000 naira and plan to use 15,000 for food, but because such person didn't create a plan nor a scale of preference, can get to the market and overspend on food and thereby not even having savings for long-term goal. So when you keep a budget, you are able to have enough money to keep you through the month. Not only that, it saves you from overspending. You don't spend on unnecessary things, on things you don't have the intention of buying. Also, what it does is it enables you manage your debt and build credit. When you have a plan, once you adhere to the rules of budgeting, what you've succeeded in doing is to what? Manage your debt. You don't just run into debt just for running's sake. Instead, you are able to guide yourself through dictating to your money where it should go, and at the end of the day, having something saved up for your long-term goal. Also, when you adhere strictly to the rules of budgeting, it gets you moving forward to your long-term and your short-term goal. You will take a leaf from the example of the man I gave about earning 50,000 naira, where he had a particular time he had to save 10,000 from it for his saving, which can be used for his long-term goal. So what budgeting does, it helps you save for both short-term and long-term goal. Also, it prepares you for emergencies, because at times you don't plan for things to happen and they eventually happen. For instance, on that person's list, there was no medical, but because he has something saved up, if eventually he has a need to cater for his medical expenses, he can decide to go to either the unforeseen contingency plan or enter into his savings to pick up something for his health. Also, it makes you have a quick retirement plan. For someone who has been practicing the importance of budgeting, when it's that time to retire from active service or from strenuous jobs, you don't debate it, you just follow it. It comes natural. Okay, I have been working for 65 years, I need to rest. That plan would be swift because you have something to fall back on. you have something to do. For someone who has always lived for the present, who has always spent as if he has just the present to live for, such person might find it very difficult to go on the long-term plan and say, I want to retire from working. So because you keep a budget rule, because you adhere strictly to the budget plan, it is very easy for you to ensure that your retirement plan and your retirement days comes easy. Also, it keeps your finances under control. Remember, I gave us a quote from Dave Ramsey which says, budgeting tells you how to spend your money and not wonder where it goes. So if you adhere strictly to the budgeting rules, it helps you to keep your finances under control. Before I'll be taking you through the consequences of what budgeting does, we'll be going on a very short break. When we come back, we'll give you a run through of what we're talking about all of today and how the consequences of not keeping a budget affect you.
No gossip, no spoil another man. Use your time well, do better thing. Money not fall from heaven, do better thing. Money goes come. The true word that they tell you so. Money not go. Hey, true word not be cheap, my brother. Not the spoil person. Not to yeah.
I'll be inviting you for my next program. You ready? Thank you, sir.
China money, China money. Make you use your time well. No waka waka, no gossip. For another man. Use your time well. Do better thing. Money not come from heaven. Do better thing. Money go come. The true word that they tell you so.
Use your time well, do better thing. Money no dey fall from heaven. And with that, I'm welcoming you back to the program, and you're listening to Hyper 102.7 FM. And the program is Money Sense. I've been taking us through the importance of budgeting, why you should keep a budget, the 3 P's of budgeting, and of course the importance of budgeting. And now we're on to the consequences of not keeping a budget. If you don't keep a budget plan as a person, either you work for yourself or you work for somebody, the first thing you will find yourself doing is you overspend. You always find yourself overspending on things mostly that are not even needed. You just keep buying because you think you have the money, forgetting that you are not saving and the money you take out might not come back. Also, what it does is it doesn't prepare you for emergencies. The moment you don't have a budget plan, you don't have money for unforeseen contingencies. You don't have money for eventualities. And what if something happens? You are not prepared for emergency. Also, you will find yourself grumbling to always pay your bills. When it's time to pay for your electricity, for instance, you would always be cranky, you will always be angry, you will always be worked out, you will always be sad because you're like, how do I pay this bill? How do I pay that bill? But if you adhere strictly to the rules of budgeting, you keep your priorities straight, you make a plan, and of course you work with your paycheck, you won't have to grumble to pay bills. Also on my list is when it is time for you to retire as a person, you don't find yourself wondering, how do I live after retirement? Because the plan must have been in place for those times you've been saving up for the raining days. Also, you are not easily trapped into debt. Yes, but because you fail to actually keep or adhere to the budgeting rules, you will find yourself adhering and also trapped into debt. Also, you will find yourself not having a credit score. For a person who is not adhering to the rules of budgeting, you would always find yourself running into debt and not having savings to help you through. Also, you will constantly be under stress because yes, everything will be happening so fast, so much that you cannot even keep your head up and like take charge. You're not even you're not even in control of your finances. And of course, when all of these things don't work in your favor, crisis is most likely to happen. You will always find yourself under crisis of how do I live? where do I eat, what am I going to eat, how am I going to survive for tomorrow. So to avoid all this and more, it is important that you make budgeting a lifestyle and you adhere strictly to the 3 P's in budgeting, which includes the paycheck, the priorities, and of course your plan, because basically what budgeting does is to help you plan on how to spend your money, the money you earned yourself. Now, so on this week and on this episode, I'm going to be challenging us, my beautiful beloved listeners, to from today keep a budget plan for the next 1 week and find out and see for yourself how much in charge you would be with your finances. And of course, I've been running us through the importance of budgeting. I've been running us through why you need to keep a budget, and of course why you have to keep budgeting and what will happen if you don't keep a budget. Before we continue, we're going to go on a very short break, and when we come back, we're going to wrap up for today's episode and to leave you with this musical.
From heaven, do better till money go come. The true word that they tell you so, putting and do. Hey. Money, make you use your time well. No waka, no gossip, spoil another man. Use your time well, do better thing. Money doesn't come from heaven, do better thing. Money go come. The true word that they tell you so, putting and do. Hey.
Yes, use your time well, do better thing. And with that, we've come to the end of this beautiful educative program called Money Sense. And I'm sure it has in no smaller measure blessed your day and your listening. Yes, money is important. Stay wise, stay grounded. And I'll be leaving you with this beautiful quote from Elizabeth Warden, which says, budgeting your money is the key to having enough. So as you go through the week, as you go through this very week, bear in mind that when you budget your money, it's simply the key to having enough, because you won't be overspending and you won't be underspending, and you will have so much charge to take and so much control for the future. Until I come your way again next week, I am Florence Ibarema. Friends call me FLOXY, and you can also call me FLOXY. Stay wise, stay grounded, keep and make budgeting a lifestyle. I love you.
Money, oh.